Do you think Ripple will give some of the escrow to XRP to the US government? The Clarity Act as it stands now means that Ripple would have to sell some of its XRP. This could be given to the IMF, the US, or any other country that wants to build a CBDC on the XRP system. We need to look into this right away. Crypto IRA and a few other people here in the XRP space have also sent us some great news via video that's jam-packed. Let's get right to the point. This comes from Unknown DLT. Says that Ripple has two choices in order to follow the Clarity Act and not own more than 20% of the total asset. It can either send 15% to 20% of the trust to the US, or it can keep the money in the US. As soon as the Clarity Act is passed, the 1,700 contracts must be made public. Some of those contracts do have NDAs and list the people who own the trust. Should they pick the first choice, they will let the IMF decide how much XRP is worth. He says that this has already been done and is now a new standard for ESDR drawing rights. No matter what happens, the trust has already been set aside, and David Schwartz confirmed that this week. Take a look. Ripple could sell the right to get the tokens that come out of escrow or even the accounts that the tokens end up in. The XRP still can't move around, though, until the days of the release. This means that 1 billion XRP are freed from escrow every month. In the event that some of these contracts call for that XRP, it will be given out. Ripple relocks about 70% of the time. That's happened a lot this year. About 80% of them were relocked last year. That means when you open 1 billion, 700 million would be put back into escrow. We're now hearing for the first time from Ripple's CTO that the lockup could be bought ahead of time. Even if someone buys it early, it still has to go through the open times. We all learned that really important thing this week. To learn more about this post, the Clarity Act standards, and Ripple's choices, read on. This is the Clarity Act, which was passed in 2025. In 2025, it passed the House. This is the House form. This hasn't become law yet. Just know that sets a 20% ownership cap on issuers of digital goods like XRP. This is so that the CFTC, not the SEC, can control it as a mature blockchain system. If Ripple doesn't lower the amount of XRP it holds below this limit, its token could be seen as a security, another bloody fight. We've already talked about the two main options. 10% to 20% of the money in escrow could be given. Contracts and owners connected to the escrow could be made public. To show that they don't own this $35 billion, they'll say that maybe half of it has already been claimed. The person who owns that would have to give those facts, which could be very interesting. That could help us figure out if BlackRock, JP Morgan, or any of the other banks we're guessing own some of that trust. That sounds really tasty, doesn't it? That is something I really need to know. Some people in the community think that Ripple could give escrow and XRP to the US government. The post says that if Ripple could transfer some of the XRP escrow to the US government in order to meet the threshold, technical experts have talked about ways that Ripple could transfer large amounts of its escrow XRP to government-controlled addresses. However, this would probably require full account key resets and could be hard to set up. For this XRP to be moved, the US government would have to open brand new accounts. That couldn't be what it was, because of course you want to keep things safe. Ripple only gives you the account and the seed word. It says that there is no legal precedent or proven government plan for the US to receive or own gifted XRP from Ripple. And Ripple's lawyers have said in the past that seizing or forcing this government to hand over escrowed XRP is unlikely or legal. The US government has talked about this. So, last year people in the community talked about how scared they were the government would step in and take Ripple's reserve. That's something that has only been thought about. That was something that people in the neighborhood were talking about, but I don't think it will ever happen. To be honest, most of the examples in this case are just guesses based on what analysts or people on social media have said. What do you guys think about this? Will Ripple have to give some of this cash away in the end? Has it already been bought or sold? It's pretty exciting to start this. Then there was November, right? The introduction of ISO is going to happen this month on November 22nd. What are you going to do with that? Tomorrow or Tuesday, I'll make a full movie for you guys that will tell you everything you need to know. As of today, though, November has begun. This is the month when all or almost all state and commercial banks will speak the same language, ISO 2022. Institutions will be able to use APIs that link to DLT to set up instant settlement with this new language. A lot of people still don't understand what this means, and the way money works will change a lot because of it. Ripple has been getting ready for this for more than 10 years. The tool that will be used is XRP. It was made for this reason by the US. There isn't another device that is neutral, useful, cheap, quick, and safe. XRP will be the best way to send money across borders in the whole world. I like the post because it's pretty. That was very rude. Okay, let's play this from Crypto Eerie now. Please excuse me. There is a lot to see when you talk about freedom, and I think a lot of people admire that, which is fair. I believe that with the new amendments that have just been approved, which I hope we can talk about, we are finally becoming a chain that is ready to really accept institutional finance. Amendments like as of right now, the newest one is the multi-purpose token, which can store a lot of info, and privacy is coming. Just like I said with the license decks, some new features and benefits are coming to the ledger that will make it possible for institutions to start using it. This is very exciting because before these changes, it was mostly retail businesses that used it. When I first joined the community, we used XRP to tip each other. It was a move of value, and Weetza Wind, who works for XRP Labs, made it. He now has the Zaman wallet, which was such a hit and was used by so many people that, once again, that's another useful tool that small players really liked. Anyway, that being said, I guess the question is, why do people hold XRP? Certain people will still say, I hold it because I want to use it in a way that will give me yield, and those new ways to get yield are now available. Okay, yes, it's hard to say why people hold XRP in one sentence. Yes, you have Flash, Flare, and all of this new DeFi that is being built to give you some kind of return. It's important to know the risks before you jump in, but things are getting really exciting. This clip was on Digital Asset Trader, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to play it or not, but I thought some of the things in it did point to a bigger problem with both sides in the crypto business. I also like to play things that make you think about the story in a new way. Let's play it and talk about it later. That's why if you look at Operation Choke Point 2.0, I'm sorry about that. I had no idea it would be that loud. I think that was a plan by the Federal Reserve, asset managers like BlackRock, the SEC, the corrupt leadership, and the lobby that bought the Biden administration to suffocate the markets so that companies like Celsius and FTX could be put in place. This would make the market look really bad, so BlackRock could come in and get an ETF approved, and banks could say, hey, we'll take our Silvergate signature and Silicon Valley Bank that was serving the crypto businesses. Next, we'll talk about how we have our own little answer. You are able to start trading at Goldman Sachs. You can do some of this, JP Morgan, you can all do that, Fidelity and BlackRock. So many people will put their Bitcoin in an ETF, that's our goal. Then the investment bank said, hey, let's do strategy. Could we make this service that will allow as many businesses as possible to sell Bitcoin to the public? Then we'll get a company like Cantor Fitzgerald, which is a main dealer with ties to the Federal Reserve. We'll ask him to make, everyone in this clip looks really serious. It's strange, but everyone seems very serious. Please excuse me. That had to be broken because, wow, and now 17% of the Bitcoin stock is held by treasury companies, exchange-traded funds, ETFs, Satoshi's coin, and other things. They are going to use Bitcoin as much as possible to try to get as many people to borrow money against their Bitcoin as possible. I also think they will cheat a lot of people out of their Bitcoin, but now their game is we have this Bitcoin system with 2 levels. They also design the system so that you want to use theirs, which is sad since it's tax-free to keep it in a retirement account. They make it easier to leave money to other people. A lot of people are getting caught in that trap, and I believe it's all part of the power they'll gain when we bargain our way into a world with many sides. Guys, it's clear that a lot of very large companies are now involved in the crypto market, and they mean business. They'll play games with the markets just like they have done with every other market in history. You should stay away from banks. They don't like you. It's bad business for you, and there are big liquidity events that wipe out people who are trading the market. The surgery will be